And Kim was right, Haley, quite honestly, where you're at in the performance, our next step for you would be termination if things don't turn around. Um, and so I want to be clear too on the in-office expectations. I understand Mike Valor may have given you different expectations. Our expectations moving forward are that you are a hybrid employee. You were hired as a hybrid employee. You signed agreements that you are a hybrid employee. We do expect you here 1 week out of the month currently. I will say this, if the reliability and dependability don't improve, we will start asking you to come into the office 100% of the time, okay?
Let me be very clear. This is my name. As you can see at the top, the goal is 100%. I was at 240%. Honey, if that's not meeting expectations, I don't know what is. I was pulling my weight and pulling other claims as well from other people in their teams. Not to mention answering over 40% of my calls, which is way over what I was supposed to be at. But you will see that what he's telling me is that I'm not allowed to take a day off. Even if I have the PTO, it doesn't matter. If they don't have capacity in Variant, they don't give a damn if you need a day to take care of your goddamn kids. Or maybe have a life at all for that matter. But this is how you treat an employee that's pulling these types of numbers that had an overall 3 rating. Like, let's be for real. This is about a woman who was discriminating against me for whatever reason, amongst other things. Other people have the same stories about her. She just didn't want to override my PTO in Variant so that I can take a day off or come in a little late. This is why those days added up the way they did, because I had to call in. I have things that I have to do, and everybody else has things that they have to do. They have lives. And meanwhile, everybody has the same story, the same issue, and the same problem. That ought to tell you something. Get your popcorn. And after this conversation, that's when I decided, you know what? I'm going to send an email to everybody. People need to know what's going on in this company. The celebrities that are on these commercials need to know what's going on in this company. I'm going to make sure that everybody knows how snaky Snake Farm really is inside and out, including what they're paying people for their claims. Don't get me started on that. It's coming, though. As well as what led up to me deciding that I was not going to work for this company any longer because it goes against my personal morals and principles of who I am as a person. So, yeah, popcorn, drink, icy, whatever you eat, get it, and listen to this dummy. When I first got here, we switched from being on phones to a stewardship environment, and we switched to new leadership. And so the very first day I met Dusty, I didn't have working equipment, headphones. Apparently, it wasn't a big deal around that time. We all kind of had issues with our equipment, so we talk like we're talking now, like on the laptop. Apparently, that was an issue, but she aggressively came toward me like, what do you mean you don't have working headphones? Why don't you have working headphones? It started there. So that was the first day I met her. That was our initial conversation, and that's been the dynamic of our relationship. Initially, when I first came onto her team, she went back the year before and tallied up all my absences and all of the times that we were actually supposed to be in office. And at the time, the manager that our team had, he told us, as long as you're online, that's really all I care about. And after speaking to Kim, she said that he said he never said that, but that's not true. And obviously, if you go back and look at everybody on his team or any other team, you would see that nobody was really in office. So, but either way, it felt like a retaliation because I ended up having to tell her the very first day I met you, you were aggressive and hostile towards me, and you've been that way ever since. And so she took that and brought it to Kim, and I didn't know that she brought it to Kim until the other day when I came to her and said that Dusty had called me girl. And spoke to Kim. That didn't get anywhere. Kim told me that basically this was a personality conflict, which I would disagree with because I don't feel like this is on a personal level. It's leadership to an employee. I'm under her. I feel like she should talk to me in the way she would want me to talk to her. And I feel like I have not received that since day one. And I explained that to Kim, and Kim said, well, it's just not that big of a deal for us to move you from the team. It's not something that is big enough for us to make a change for you. And although I explained to her what happened from beginning to end, she felt like it wasn't enough, and that was Dusty's personality, and that if I were to speak to Jeremy, which I didn't know who that was at the time, but she was like, I'm meeting with him today, and he would agree with me that this is a personality conflict. I'm uncomfortable. I don't feel safe being around my leadership, and I don't want to feel like it's affecting my work. And so much so, I feel like she's targeting me because I feel like she's plotting for me to be fired. And the words out of Kim's mouth was that I could sue, but I don't have a case, so I don't have anything to sue for. And she was really aggressive too, and it kind of made me realize that this is not gonna go anywhere with her. So that's why I came to you all, because I don't want to feel like I need to be in a distressed state to come to work, or that I'm being watched over because she's watching my every move, literally sitting right behind me, which is very uncomfortable for me given the relationship.
Okay. Hey, so what you say is very important to us. I do want to point a couple of things out to you, though. Haley, and I have responsibility, so does Carol, to look at how our operations are performing and how each of our employees are performing. You're not meeting our expectations, okay? A lot of it has to do with the amount of time that you've missed from work. And so there's two elements to this. And so when we have a memo and we issue you a memo on your performance, you either have to perform or you don't. And when you don't, we do have to make decisions that may end your employment with State Farm, right? So I think I just want to be clear. There's a couple of things here at play here.
Is my performance pertaining to my reliability coming to work, or are you speaking about anything else?
I think that's definitely a key part of what we've talked to you about in your memo. We've talked to you about your production. We've talked about your phone behaviors, and we've talked about a couple other things that are in that memo. And so it's not just one thing. And based on what you've been given, I was looking at your last quarterly summary. A lot of it has to do around your dependability and your reliability, but that's not the only thing. I personally got involved in a complaint about 2 weeks ago that you were involved in, to where we handled a claim, and it was a State Farm agent, that we were going to settle the claim above and beyond the policy limits. That's another issue, right? And you as the claim specialist have a responsibility to address that. So it's not just the dependability and reliability. Haley, there's other things that you're not meeting the expectations of the role.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't notified of any of what you're speaking about. So yeah, that's another thing that I do have a problem with, because if I'm not performing or meeting up to the standards of my role, then I would think my leadership would come to me and let me know, like the instant what you're talking about. I've never heard of that. No one has come to me and said I tried to settle a claim outside of the limits without supervision or leadership's approval, or from the claim owner approval. So I'm just a little confused about what it is outside of the reliability. But of course, that's probably another conversation that needs to be had with my leadership. And if there was things that I weren't meeting up to the standard of, I haven't been coached on anything that I've done wrong outside of taxes and fees, which I've been on top of. But anything else performance-wise, that would be news to me.
Okay. Do you, in your quarterly summary that you have from an HR perspective, have you reviewed that?
The note that was put in from Dusty from January to March?
Correct.
Yes, I reviewed that, yeah.
Okay, so not only did she talk about attendance and reliability, she also talked about increased answered calls. She also talked about file documentation, proper update to taxes and fees, and proper vehicle evaluations to ensure we're paying what we owe in each and every claim according to our commitment to our policy over. I mean, that's more than just attendance and reliability.
Yeah, and that's something that I read actually 2 days ago. I didn't even know that that was somewhere I was supposed to actually go in and look over. It's not a conversation we had in our one-on-one about, hey Haley, you know, your taxes, your fees, your phone calls, your dot dot dot. It's almost like it was hidden in a treasure box, and I found it on my workday thing the other day, actually looking for resources for me to reach out to. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, I haven't been notified of these things or coached on them for that matter. So I am still confused about why that stuff is in there, but she hadn't sat down and showed me if there's something I'm doing wrong. I can't learn it if no one is telling me that I'm doing it wrong, or I don't know that it is wrong, or how to do it the right way. He actually had me talk to the team about how I'm answering them as many calls as I am answering, because everybody else could not reach the 40%. So yeah, that is odd to me that it's about performance. I was thinking, okay, well, maybe I do need to call off because there is no other way to do it but to go to Variant. I just didn't know that you could possibly override Variant, because I would go in and try to put it in or ask a question about calling off or having a day off, and it's go through Variant.
I mean, so Haley, if everyone did that, we couldn't serve our customers, and that's really the reason she's really honing in on this, is we have to have you present. We're paying you to be here for our customers, and I think we've addressed the things that are important. I appreciate you sharing the concerns that you have.
I feel like this call was mostly about my performance and my reliability. I don't feel like my concerns were addressed in this call at all. Because what I'm saying is that my leadership is hostile and aggressive towards me regardless of performance. She was like that the first day, which was back in January before these occurrences. That's what I'm stating. So
let me share with you. We heard you.
Okay.
So don't think that we did not hear you, okay? We heard what you said, and anytime we hear something, what we'll do is we listen, not make any comments, because that is not what we do at State Farm. We're never going to tell anyone this conversation we're having with you is us, just like the conversation with us. So just know we heard you. Don't think we didn't hear you just because we didn't say that. And in terms of aggressive and non-aggressive, not thrilled to hear that, but know that we heard you, okay?
What you're saying is, outside of me missing those days, my performance is not up to par. I really need to know, I would love to know what that is, what that looks like, what is the coaching for that, because otherwise I'm being set up to fail. If there are notes being put in that I'm doing something wrong and I hadn't been told about it or coached on it, I don't know how I would be able to fix those things.
Hey, we have a lot invested in you, and I think a lot of our employees feel like that's not our motive. We would have never brought you on if we didn't think you could do the job, and we would have never invested the time and the energy to train you. We need you. We don't want to see you fail. We do not want to see you terminated. That is not what we want. And so our role is to help you understand what you're doing really well, continue to do that. What are you doing poorly? How do we help you overcome those? It's not about working against you. I have no motive to work against you. We need you. And so I want to be real clear. There is no motive to get you out this door. We need you. And we need every employee we have. We just can't afford to keep you if you can't perform the essential functions of the job and be reliable. If we get those things resolved, we want you to be a happy employee. I've been with the company nearly 25 years. I've been here that long because I've had people help me understand what I do well and then what I need to improve on. It's the same with you, Haley. We want to do the same thing for you. So I don't want you to think that we're not with you. We are. We have no motive to get rid of it.